Hey you! Are you tired of using a console? No. I said... Are you tired of using your console? No! Get the hell out of my house, you mother...
Yeah, my console's not fun anymore. I'd like a new one, please.
Well, lucky for you, I have a solution. Just get a computer. You can play games on it. But that looks like shit! Ah!
Hi, I'm Awfulness Games, and I couldn't really think of a better intro, so this is the best you've got. So, I've talked about the other ones, right? And now we're on to the last one from the Genesis games. Ooh. Let's finally conclude it with... Oh yes, we are finally talking about Sonic 3. Okay, so I'm splitting this in the timestamps in the description. So we'll start with part 1, the Sonic 3 part. As the third time with the charm, the true guns are being sticked with the original Genesis version being emulated using Genesis plus GX via RetroArch. Story-wise, the bootleg Death Star from Sonic 2 crashes into an island, and the most beautiful character in gaming has to team up with a red guy to stop the blue guy and his furry friend from stopping his evil plans again. Same stuff, same routine, you know the deal. Gameplay-wise, it's everything improved by a lot more. I'm not joking, everything has been fixed from Sonic 1 and 2. Still traditional, you got your rings, you got your loops, you got your spin dash, you got your etc, but we also got a new ability called the Insta Shield, where you're invincible for a split second mid-jump. Special stages are handled a lot more differently. They're still supersonic from Sonic 2, but the special stages are now giant rings again, but this time, instead of being at the end of the level like in Sonic 1, they're hidden all throughout the levels, throughout your gameplay, and you're supposed to look for them. The easiest way you could get them, I would say, around Hydrocity Act 2. If you find every single one of them throughout the gameplay, there's usually a bunch of YouTube videos that talk about it. But the special stages themselves are blue spheres, and they, hands down, are the best special stage in the entire series on the Genesis. Super easy, super simple, challenging in all the right places. The criticisms I have is Carnival Nights, the weird little elevator thingies in Carnival Night. Those are annoying. Some of the giant rings that you find can be a little bit annoying to actually find. That's kind of a pain in the ass. And don't even get me started on big arms. Like, literally, how could one final boss have the best song in the entire game, yet be one of the most pain in the ass bosses I've ever played in any game? Anyways, I've talked about what I could with the Sonic 3 half. Before we do part 2, which is the Sonic and Knuckles portion, let's do some history and an introduction on Knuckles. So, fun fact, in the original 1994 release for Sega Genesis, it was meant to be one big game, but 4 megabyte cartridges were expensive to produce at the time, so the solution was to split the game into 2 parts and have Sonic and Knuckles be its own game. But the cool thing is if you had the cartridge for both Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, you could lock them on together to be one big game. Ooh. And with it, we'll talk about the second part of Sonic 3, or standalone Sonic and Knuckles. So, this technically is Sonic 3 Part 2, but for namesake, this is Sonic and Knuckles. It's basically just the second half of Sonic 3, like I said, but except there's enough to keep it as a separate thing. If you had collected the Chaos Emeralds before reaching this portion, then you're able to do harder special stages and unlock something called the Super Emeralds. The Super Emeralds will basically are just the Chaos Emeralds again. Basically, you have to do the entire thing all over again. That kind of sucks, but if you manage to do it, you're rewarded with Hypersonic, which is 2 times better than Super, 100%. But the Super Emeralds are also important to the game and the story, because if you do, you unlock a completely new zone known as Doomsday Zone, which is like the true final boss of the game, where you can play as Hypersonic in space. Ooh! But if you think that's over just because of that, boy, are you wrong. Because there's a part 3, kind of. Okay, so the criticism I have with the Sonic and Knuckles portion would technically be the special stages. They are a lot harder than the original, so you're gonna need a lot of patience, to be honest. And also, not to mention that motherfucking piece of shit, Death Egg Zone. That is literally the worst zone ever. I hate it so much, it's not even funny. But that's about it, is what a bitch would say. Because now we're going to be talking about the Knuckles story in this game. Ooh. So the super cool thing about this is technically just Sonic 3 again. But Knuckles is a lot more different. There's areas only he can get to. The downside is he jumps a bit heavier. So getting to higher places can be annoying. And the glide is also annoying. But on the bright side, it's more short and sweet compared to Sonic's story. And you get a badass final boss that you're seeing on screen. It is definitely actually fun. This makes Knuckles' story way more interesting than it needs to be. Now, despite all of this, what's my final verdict of the game? It's time to answer the final question. Does it hold up in 2026? Yes. 100% yes. This is the best game out of the entire Genesis trilogy, and I definitely recommend it, because it'll take you about 8 hours to do Sonic and Knuckles' story 100%. And the review score is a perfect 10. I am not joking. I freaking love this game to bits. Now we're at the part where there's alternate ways to play this game if you don't have the Genesis version. An official way to play it now, and the pirate's way if you can't afford it. Because I don't really care if you pirate stuff. That's just not my problem. The first and obvious method is Sonic Origins. I personally don't like it, but it's accessible. It's on modern day consoles, and it's on PC. And I think it's like $40, I believe. But it goes on sale a lot, and it's usually for pretty cheap. The next method for the pirates out there is Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited, also known as Sonic 3 Air for short. It's basically the remaster that you've been waiting for. It's fully perfect, dude. Modding support, accessibility, so much settings to mess around with. I recommend this one as the superior way to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Okay, whew! Finally, I've reviewed all the Genesis games. On a personal note, I would like to thank every single one of the people that have watched these reviews since the Sonic 1 review. I've been doing something new with these by doing these review videos, and it means a lot that people are checking them out. As for what I'm going to do next, I will still talk about Sonic here and there, but the next series of games that I will be talking about is Crash Bandicoot. The entirety of the PS1 Crash games will be next, starting with the first one. So stay tuned for that, and bye!